is abundance. Abundance. Who doesn't like a fresh, hot bun? Gluten-free, butter, dairy-free, however you want it. Or think about a recent potluck you've attended. People coming together to share their abundance where all are welcome. This month, we'll be exploring how rising up in our abundance consciousness blesses our love and the lives of those around us. Topic today is the value of self-worth. Transforming your life can have you facing challenge after challenge. With a strong foundation of self-worth, you are more easily able to pursue the path of personal and spiritual growth. It takes a willingness, backed by courage, to show up fully, authentically and unapologetically as you. Self-worth is not earned or negotiable. Self-worth is who you are. And this morning, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our speaker. It's Terrea Hendrickson. Did I get that right? Yes, okay. Terrea considers herself a spiritual steward, an agent of spirit. She is passionate about her personal and spiritual growth, as well as sharing insights and wisdoms with other seekers. Personal Balance with Terrea is her holistic practice, which has offered individual sessions as well as classes, workshops, and retreats since 2007. So this morning, just as a side, next Sunday, we used to do this apparently, and now we've suggested we do it again. Next Sunday, our speaker is Reverend Steph, and her topic will be more buns to share. So please help me welcome Terrea this morning.
Taking my own advice of breathing deep. A little bit of tapping before I came in. I have not spoken in a group for COVID sort of put the stop to that, didn't it? Anyway, if you remember, Steph said a while back that when you find something that moves you really deeply, that you find so incredibly powerful, you have to share it. And that's what I do. When I find myself extremely passionate about something, I need to share it. And this self-worth, Jamie Kern-Lima, never even heard of her before. The class was being offered at Women's Place in Kenora, and I got the notice for it, and I thought, wonder what that's all about. It sounds interesting. I wonder if I would benefit from it. I had never really thought about self-worth before, but I got accepted to the class, and I thought, okay, I guess I have to look at self-worth. I had never thought about it. I had thought about self-confidence. I thought about self-esteem, and I thought I had a pretty good level of all of that, but I didn't know where I stood with self-worth. So because I trust muscle testing, I trust my body when I muscle test, I thought, I better try this. So I muscle tested first on self-confidence, and it came out at a very solid 8, 0 to 10 scale. It felt true to me. I knew there was work to be done there. And then I muscle tested self-worth, and it was 6.5. And I thought, wow, I wonder what's between me and that number 10. So I got very curious about the class. And within the first 2 classes, it was very relevant to me that this was important information everybody needs to know. So even Joe Dispenza said, the universe only gives us what we think we are worthy of receiving. So think about that. So the difference between self-confidence and self-worth. Self-confidence is the way we think about it, the way we feel ourselves. We know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, our skills, our qualities, but it's often connected to the outside world. We can feel really certain and competent about doing something until we get criticized. And it knocks the legs out from under us. So self-confidence varies depending on your external situation. It fluctuates based on your mood, your circumstance, your performance, your approval. Whereas self-worth, it's innate. It's internal. It is a deep-rooted belief, I am enough as I am. It is not dependent on anything external. We come with self-worth. We just forget about it. It's a soul knowing. It's knowing right in here that I am worthy of being loved. I am worthy of belonging. Some of Jamie's examples: self-confidence is what you show on the outside. Self-worth is what you feel on the inside. Self-confidence is based on mastery. Self-worth is based on identity. Self-confidence is what you can do. Self-worth is who you are. Self-confidence is believing you're skilled enough. Self-worth is believing you are enough. Self-confidence fluctuates based on environment. Self-worth is stable through every environment. And self-confidence is fragile. Self-worth is foundational. Self-worth is our foundation. Self-confidence is the structure that we build on top of that foundation. So your structure can only ever be as secure as the foundation is. So just out of curiosity, scale of 0 to 10, where would you place your level of self-worth today? And if you can't do numbers, some people aren't doing the numbers. How big? Is it this big? Is it this big? Where do you think it is? And just keep that in mind as I speak. And the different areas that I talk about, be aware if there's anything that resonates, something gets triggered and you think, maybe this is an area of my life I have to do something about, that you lack a little bit of self-worth in. So the first thing she talks about is rejection, our relationship to rejection. Because as humans, we crave acceptance, we crave belonging, and when we don't get that, we feel like we're being excluded. And of course, being humans, we give our very own meaning to that feeling excluded. I'm not good enough. I wasn't good enough to get that promotion. I wasn't smart enough. I'm not popular enough to get invited to the parties or the family dinners, whatever it might be. So she's suggesting reframing. Give new meaning to that rejection word. It doesn't have to be the end of your life because you were rejected. If there's something you feel you don't fit into, don't think of it as a misfit, that you're a misfit. You're just misaligned. We all talk energy all the time. It is all energy. It's all frequency. So somebody's not in alignment with you. That has to be okay. So but she was going through a business. She created a business, a skin product for problem skin. And she believed in it. So she was passionate about this business. She put her heart and soul in it, just went bankrupt over it, and kept getting a lot of no's from companies. And she learned that rejection is the universe's protection. She began to understand that her value, her product's value, her vision, her mission was being hidden from these people because they were not in her destiny. They were never going to be in alignment with her. So she began to understand rejection was redirection to something better. And we have to trust that whatever's happening to us is happening for, not to us. It's happening for us. It's giving us opportunity to choose again. Jamie talks about this greatness inside of us. Are you aware of your greatness? And if not, why not? We come with this greatness. We have to be aware of it before we're willing to unlock it and express it. And it's different for all of us. We're often taught, or maybe we invented it based on our environment, that we've got some kind of doubt in ourselves, that we're not good enough in some way. Maybe you were blessed with a really great childhood, that you were loved and supported and encouraged and all those wonderful things. Personally, I'm 70. I don't know very many people that were in an environment like that. So we hold back this greatness because we're not even aware of this greatness. We can't even explore it because we're not even aware of it. And all that does is sacrifice our growth. It sacrifices us getting to know the true self. And this is not about, look at me and how great I am. That's not that kind of greatness. This is a soul level. Down here, I am. She talks about all the lies and the stories that we're told, or maybe we create ourselves, again, based on experiences that we take with us through life and how it starts to affect us. So one of these lies, because of all this self-doubt, leads to thinking that you are not enough to be your true self. So we hide ourselves, sometimes feel like an imposter, sometimes wear a mask to fit into something. That's not a good thing to do. You're creating, because we want those connections, for some people, without feeling their self-worth and their self-value, might think it's okay to have an unbalanced connection rather than no connection at all. But this is very inauthentic, very out of alignment with your soul, and a very unhealthy coping mechanism. Jamie refers to it as toxic positivity, which Steph spoke of also a couple of months back in our board meeting. It's very, very toxic energy to pretend. And you can't fool the universe when it comes to energy and frequency. You absolutely can't go into that party wearing a mask that I'm happy, life is good, and I'm fitting in here, and you have a few extra drinks to relax a little bit, get rid of the inhibitions. You are not fooling the body, you're not fooling the soul. Soul knows that that is toxic energy, and it is harmful. She goes on to talk about self-doubt leading to body doubt. This is a big one. Because of society, because of the media, they're wanting us to believe what beauty actually is. All lies. At about the age of 8, my uncle used 2 words to me. It was body related. At about the age of 12, a friend in school, a good friend in school, another 2-letter word, two-word statement toward me, body image, and you bet I carried that all my damn life. And it's painful, so stop it. And when we think there's something wrong with these perfect bodies, we choose to stay hidden. We are not out front and center. We become observers in life instead of participants in life. Think of what we miss when we just observe. The belief that I don't deserve better. Think about even when you receive compliments. How do you receive a compliment? So many people, they're embarrassed by it. We don't believe that what that person is telling us is truth. That's very, very sad. Self-doubt leads to thinking you have nothing special to offer. This one really stuck because it brought me back to the feelings of being the imposter when I started out in my holistic journey a long time ago. Thinking I wasn't ready to share anything. I wasn't ready to talk. I thought, no, I have to take another class. I have to find just the right mentor. I have to, all these things because of the lack of self-worth that I had. But my guess is every single mentor that we follow today, every author, every video you watch, all of those people are out there mentoring. They too had to have had some level of I'm not enough before they made it. They did the work. They got passionate about what they were learning and wanted to share with humanity, and they did the work. That you always have a choice, right? Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, and Greg Braden, these are 3 of the mentors I absolutely adore. And they all say that in those first 6 to 7 years of our life, we are molded based on our environment. We're little sponges as children. We don't even have to hear it. We have to just witness it, and we take it on as our truth, our belief system. So how much of that happened in those first years of our life that we continued to carry on with us and kept us suppressed, kept that greatness inside of us suppressed? She talks about labels. A label just defines you in some way. Now, somebody might have put that label on you, or you may have claimed it all by yourself. Could have been something somebody said to you. Could have been a really well-meaning comment. But we interpreted that comment based on past history. We took it as truth. We gave it roots, and it carried with us all these years. So ask yourself, what is that label costing you? That's a really big question. What is that label costing you? Another story, because I was such a shy child, I did not talk, did not want to be seen or heard, and I failed grade 3. It was not because I was not smart. Halfway through grade 3, there was about 4 or 5 of us they did this to. They moved us into a single row in the grade 3 classroom into grade 4. And then after those 5-6 months of grade 4, they passed us all into grade 5, and most of us failed grade 5. I took that as I am not smart for a long time. And how sad to do that to a child. Because they didn't know what they're doing. It wasn't done on purpose. It was because of who I was. I wasn't responding to anything. So, lessons learned. I ended up with a teacher that changed everything. How about people pleasing? Is there anybody you feel you have to go into people pleasing mode for? And why? And it's usually for acceptance, but it can also be that you're protecting yourself, you're avoiding conflict or disappointment. So she suggests again about the whole reframing idea. So if you've got the idea that you have to do this, look at yourself first, why you're doing it, and honor who you are. All you're doing is suppressing, again, your personal growth, your spiritual growth, to appease somebody else. And I guess, is there situations where you have to go in and do that? Possibly, I'm sure there is, but not to your detriment. I think you have to have your boundaries. And we are responsible for our boundaries, for setting them and for maintaining them. She talks about this fear of being our true self, because if I'm true self, they're not going to like me. And she uses the term reveal the real. I really like that. Reveal the real. We can always choose to stay disconnected from the soul, from the inner self. We can do that. We can shrink ourselves to fit in wherever we need to fit in. Or we can choose to know who we are, embrace our self-worth, and be comfortable with that. Is it easy? It is not always easy. It's quite a learning process. Brene Brown talks about the arena. I love Brene Brown as well. Have you ever heard her talk about the arena, about getting into the arena? She says it's really, really easy to sit in the bleachers, what she calls the cheap seats. Sit in the bleachers and criticize what's going on in the arena. We need to armor up, show up, have a willingness to enter the arena regardless of the fear, which is kind of sort of what I'm doing today. It takes courage and it takes vulnerability. And without the self-worth, if you don't have that foundation of self-worth, you get one little snippet that somebody thought you didn't do well. I'd never speak again. And I don't think I'm here to do that. I think I'm here on this planet to bring change. I think we all are. I think we all are. And Brené's quote is, sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is just show up. And if you can't show up for this crowd, I mean, she suggests we to look at the circles in our lives. We have an inner circle. This is a really intimate group of people. It could be small, could be big. It could be by choice. You choose these people that you want to be in your inner circle, or it could happen by default. Because I think we all experience that person, the first meeting, and it's like we've known each other forever. You just have such a connection. So your inner circle is people, they are your biggest cheerleaders. You'll be in alignment with them. They will support everything that you do. True, everybody is true to themselves. It's okay for me to be you, me, and it's okay for you to be you. I support your choices. And then there's the outer circle, which is more distant people. I would think more like acquaintances, perhaps. Not fully in alignment. You enjoy going for a cup of coffee or a lunch or something, but you never get to those conversations that you want to talk about. I have a few of my high school friends where I'm not ready to not have coffee with them yet. That's okay. She moves into talking about fulfillment, and that there are 4 keys to fulfillment. Self-confidence, self-worth, growth and contribution. I was happy to see the growth and contribution in there because those are 2 of the 6 human needs that Tony Robbins and Chloe Madanes teach. More very powerful, powerful work, that one. They're considered the spiritual needs, and they usually don't become significant to us until we are beyond child rearing, social climbing, career achievements, and then we start focusing on ourselves more. So that's when we start to look at growth and contribution and how can we do that. And there's many, many, many ways. Growth, you can grow just by reading a book. You can grow by joining a discussion group, SOM, every month. You probably grow through that. You can go to therapy or try a challenge, something new that's a challenge, you're gonna grow. But evidence says that we feel more joy and we feel alive when we're growing. And there's no end to it. I don't believe there's an end. And the contribution, again, we can do that in so many different ways. You can donate your time, of course, you can donate money. You can donate your ideas. You can donate your being on the board, right? It could be as simple as letting somebody know they're seen, they're heard, and they're valued. Maybe that's what you're really good at, letting people feel seen and heard. So we can choose to be content. Content can even be a comfortable place, a happy place, especially if you've gone through some challenges, tough times, then that contentment place feels comforting. But that's not where we want to stay. We never reach that fulfillment in our lives. And I think that's the soul's yearning. To me, the soul is yearning to know its true self and express its true self, to discover the passions and explore the purposes, because we are individuations of divinity. So in closing, she says, see you. Can you look in the mirror and actually see your true self? Not that your hair is out of place or, don't look with those eyes. Look with your soul eyes, with your love eyes, and look at you. Don't go in there with all this. Society has just twisted us up so bad about what we should look like, what we should be doing. There's no shoulds. There's only what this yearns for. And I think we're all in the right place in order to follow through on that. So see who you are. Own your self-worth. Step into it and embrace that self-worth. You are the steward of your growth. You are the expert. Only you know what's best for you. All we have to do is make that decision, whatever it is, going through the growth. You think, I like Wayne Dyer. I think I want to buy his book. Then go buy the book. Read the book. Read the book a second and third time. Whatever inspires you. Tony Robbins says decision is the ultimate power. That's because even making that decision, again, everything being energy, you've made a decision, you've created movement. So add some momentum to that. Start looking for the people that can help you. If you think you have to do it alone, you never have to do any alone. There's always, always, always somebody who will help you. If you're talking to somebody who's not going to help you, then don't share your vision with them. You don't need people poo-pooing on your passions. And she likens our lives to the transition of the caterpillar, the cocoon, and the butterfly. We're all in the middle of a transition. We're just at different levels of it. Some are just beginning, and some are thinking maybe the end is here, but there's no end. And we can choose to allow our self-doubt, all of our limiting beliefs, to keep us small and hold us back. But why would we do that? That's the comfort zone. That's where we stay in the comfort zone and we just choose things that are familiar to us. And there's no growth in there. But you can choose it because you have free will, right? You can choose it. All the time you can choose it. But with the caterpillar, think of how the caterpillar, all it does is eat. So in my reference to us, we could choose to just keep buying the books and taking the classes, buying the books and taking the classes. And then take a little rest, buy the books, take the classes, and just stay there. Not go into that cocoon stage where the chrysalis, this is the process of transformation, going from that immature form into the adult form. This is done with persistence. It's a very raw and vulnerable stage that cocoon is in. It may not even survive. The wings are taking place, And then when the butterfly does come out, the wings are still wet. It can't even fly yet. So it's still in a vulnerable place. But can you imagine the butterfly being free finally and living its full expression of who it is? I believe they don't live long, so that's a little disturbing. But that's kind of like us. We can choose to stay the caterpillar and just keep seeking. We can choose to stay in the cocoon because it's so nice and warm and comfy and safe. But we would never, ever know or experience our butterfly greatness. And we came here for butterfly greatness. So I just want to know who you are. You're not this physical form that's sitting here. That's not who you are. Know your self-worth. Embrace that self-worth. And recognize, acknowledge your own personal wisdoms and insights, because every single one of us has it. We came with it. And again, it was kind of knocked out of us. All we have to do is remember it. It's not like we're going to learn something new. We just need to remember it. So celebrate who you are, every stage, every step of the way, because every step of the way, I believe we are whole, we are complete, and we are worthy. And that is it. I tried to find an Ernest Holmes quote, but Steph informed me that Ernest Holmes didn't talk in that manner back then about self-worth. So.